Hello everyone, I'm Claire Marie B and welcome to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be taking you through my bullet journal setup for April. This month I've decided to do a honeycomb theme. It's something I've wanted to do for a little while. I've also been seen on Instagram in the last month and getting really interested in doing artwork with patterns and things like that. So this was the perfect opportunity for me to try that out in my bullet journal. And I've also bought some sketchbooks and things to be doing that in the future. But yeah, really enjoying seeing everybody's art on that and giving that a go. So this month I'm doing the honeycomb. To start with, you can see I'm sketching that out with my ruler. I'm doing the honeycomb in a few different ways. The first page on the cover page, I'm being very rigid and have that all with ruled straight lines. I'm then going to colour these all in different colours and put the patterns in here. You'll see that on the other pages I then try to do some freehand, I do some bits without the outline, so you can really see the different ways that you can do the honeycomb, and hopefully you can then pick something that works for you. But then at least I've tried it all out for you. For the lettering this month, I decided to go with it's my own style that I kind of created. I didn't see this anywhere, but over the last couple of years as I've been focusing on lettering, I've really developed this alphabet, and sometimes it just works really well with certain spreads that I do. It obviously doesn't go with absolutely everything, but for this month I felt that it really went with the honeycomb. For the colour scheme this month, I'm using 5 colours. I'm using my trusty Tombows. I understand if you're a beginner, these are quite expensive pens. I invested in these pens once I knew how much I loved my journaling and I wanted to really develop the art, so it really was an investment for me to use these, and I pretty much use them every month. But I also have lots of other pens like Ohuhu, Crayola Super Tips, so you're not tied to these specific pens. I decided to do 5 colours in my colour scheme this month. I'm challenging myself to develop my colour schemes a little more. I can get quite set in a month using 2 or 3 colours and get those blended quite well as a nice colour spectrum that goes together, but I'm wanting to expand the palette across each month, so I'm challenging myself to build that out to 5 different colours a month. So the main base, because it was honeycomb, I wanted to make sure that I used a yellow tone, but actually it's come through a bit more orange as I've been developing this, and orange is not one of my favourite colours. It's not a colour I naturally gravitate to, so this is definitely me pushing my colour palette to a whole different level, because I never would have reached for these as a colour scheme. So the cover page did take me longer than it usually would do. Sometimes in the past I could have gone, okay, well that's it, and I think it looks quite nice without the pattern. But I hope that you agree when I start to build the patterns on here that it really just adds something different and makes it a lot more interesting. I thoroughly enjoyed doing this and thinking, okay, how am I going to fill in each of the sections? The reason it took a while, and I will skip through bits, like I wasn't going to sit and show you doing the dots on all of those bits, but I decided as I was doing the patterns to use some of the materials that just tend to stay in my cupboard. I decided to get my Old Faithful Gold paints back out, which I haven't used for ages, and I also decided to use some white ink as well. So you can see here I'm putting some dots across with the white ink. I do find that white ink on water-based pens, it just seems to absorb the ink. So it's clearly this. I have it if I use the gel pens or anything like that. So I think I might need to change up sometimes the medium that I'm using. And maybe if I'd had used some different paints or something like that, the white ink would have stayed better on there, maybe even alcohol inks. But of course that would go through these pages, something terrible. I found that if I did a double layer of the white ink, that definitely was better. The other thing that I really want to do, so if anyone has any tips on this, please let me know. Using the paint brushes that I did with the little watercolour paint brushes with the tips, it was quite difficult to get clear sort of circles, and I really wanted it, if I was doing a dot like the polka dots, I really wanted that to be a much neater circle, but I found that quite challenging with the paintbrush. So that could just be my lack of practice with the paintbrush, or it could be that I should use something other than the paintbrush to do the dots. So if anyone has any suggestions of what they use to get more clear circles, then please do let me know. I've found this month that I'm becoming increasingly impatient when I'm waiting for my ink pens to dry. So I use the Pigma Micron pens and I absolutely love them. If you've been watching my videos before, you'll know that I always use these. I have done ever since I started bullet journaling a good few years ago now. But I am finding that when I use the thicker nibs of these, I'm impatient, or I'm too impatient, and moving on when I think it's dry, and I'm causing little scuff marks every now and again. So I just need to be a little bit more careful and give things a little more time to dry properly before I move on. But I'm a woman on a mission trying to get things done. So yeah, I just have to be mindful of that next time. And onto my quote page. As I said in last month's video, my plan is to really use my quote pages across the next few months to try and perfect my writing and really focus on different writing styles, or just trying different things out. So this month I tried to make some of my lettering a little more bouncy, which I think I managed to do with the Wonderful. You'll see that I've taken the end down a little bit and dropped things a little below the line, which isn't my usual style. So but yeah, I think it's an improvement. But again, it's just things for me to keep on practicing. And that's my cover and quote page complete. On to my calendar. So for the calendar spread, I'm not going to show you drawing all of these out. It took me forever, and marking them all out was to work out the spacing was it was a challenge. But I was really set that I wanted to have a little honeycomb shape for every single day of the month, and I got there in the end, and I managed to do the rows of Monday to Sunday. That's how I always do my calendar, as I always start it on a Monday. And I managed to do the rows in all the way along. So yeah, it fit well in the end, but there was a lot of pencil marks all over the page as I tried to build that out. I did complete freestyle this month on where I wanted to put all the different colours. I found that because I had 5 colours, it made it a lot easier to do the patterns than when I'd previously tried with only 4 colours. So that was a nice addition to using 5 colours this month. When I knew how many of these I had to draw out and how long it had taken me doing the cover page, I decided I was going to freehand the outlines to each of the shapes on this page. So it was good to try something a little bit different, and I still think that they ended up looking quite neat. Of course, if I used a ruler, they would be pin precise, but I would have had drag marks all over this page with the black ink, where I was completely and utterly impatient. So it suited me much better to do them freehand, especially as I'm constantly trying to get better at my line drawing and skills in that way. On to the next spread. I'm so sorry because I started to do the lettering and the border of these pages, and I thought I'd pressed record on the camera and I hadn't pressed record. So that's why there's a little jump and those bits are already done at the top. So on the left hand side, I'm doing my goals. Again, I wanted to keep the same pattern for this month, which lent itself really well to putting a goal in each of those boxes. And I'm also going to have on here my key learns for the month and then my highlights as well. On the right hand side of the page, this is where I'm going to be putting my self-care aims for the month. So it just gives me some nice things to focus on when I think, oh, I need to do something for myself, or how can I take better care of myself, especially if I've worked a really long couple of days with plenty of overtime and things like that. I know you're probably feeling me right now. we can easily put an awful lot of other things ahead of ourselves. So this is my list each month, just to pick something nice or something that'll to give some attention to myself, because I usually will put myself last over pretty much everything. So I like to make a list and tick those off as I go along in the month. And now we're on to the final spread. So this is going to be my memories page for the month. I really liked having the coloured boxes that I used for March, and I decided to, again, use the honeycomb shapes, but have these as blocks all over the page where I could then fill in all the lovely memories of what happens throughout the month. So that's what I decided to do with this page. I sketched them out first in pencil on the right hand side of the page. My line, it wasn't quite right, how I'd done it with the levels and the spacing. So the left hand side was a much cleaner page, and then the right hand side I ended up having to kind of freehand that over the top of all of the pencil marks. But I think I pretty much got there. I only made one mistake. But I kept it as usual. I'll keep all the mistakes because I'm not trying to be perfect all of the time. It won't work if that's what I'm doing. And here's my final flip through. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed my video. If you do, please hit like and subscribe, and don't forget to turn on the notifications so you're told when I release future content. I hope you have a fantastic April. Catch you in my next video. Bye.